everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be trying to attempt the impossible, winning the seemingly unwinnable game, and whether we're going to triumph or not, well, that remains to be seen. So today I'm playing in the Char 75. This is a tier 9 French auto-loading light tank that is possibly one of the most fun and exciting tanks to play. I think it's a competitive vehicle. I don't think it's outrageously competitive. If somebody wanted me to try and get kind of like the best win ratio in a tier 9 premium tank, I'll probably pick a TL7. That's the one that I seem to have the most success with. But this one is for when I feel like everything's going a little wrong and I want to blow off some steam. Why is it so fun? Well, it has a speed mode, a bit like a CS63, where you can activate it and then go ludicrously fast. Your top speed increases from 55 up to like 70 kilometers an hour, and your power to weight ratio goes from being a very good 28.72 to mad, which allows you to just bomb it around, kind of like you're a wheeled vehicle, but without the downside of your wheels getting damaged with every single shot that you receive, like on a wheeled medium. This, combined with, undoubtedly, oh dear, that was a horrible magazine, one of the most exciting aspects of the tank is that it gets this really weird gun. It is a... what gun caliber is this? It is... I don't know if it's a 90mm, or if it's a 75mm, or is it even a 100mm? You know what? I can't... it is a 100mm caliber gun, which isn't really the exciting thing about it. 100mm caliber gun on a light tank, it's not really that special at tier 9, right? Some of them are starting to pack 105s. Now this tank has a really awful alpha damage of 200, but what it does is it fires 2 sets of 3 shells that you can fire individually. So as you can see, oh, that was a better magazine on the ELC. It goes 1, 2, 3 with a half-second delay on that 3-round burst. And so that means that you can deal up to 1,200 damage, although it will take you 5.5 seconds to deal that because there's a 3.5 second delay between being able to fire each of those bursts. Now this gun, when you manage to get some really good vert stabs on it, it just feels absolutely phenomenal. And even at long ranges, if you're a little bit careful with your ammunition, you can reduce the bloom after firing with those vert stabs and do some really ludicrous things. I can only imagine what this thing would feel like if you also used either an experimental mobility, maybe instead of the coated optics for a map like this, or if you were to put a rotation device on it, because you could reduce that bloom and kind of turn it into a bit of a laser pointer. But really, you're kind of taking the tank to an extreme if you do that, and then you won't have any view range at all, because this tank only has 370 meters view range, and that is outside the speed mode. When you're in the speed mode, I believe it drops even more, and your camera rating gets horrible inside the speed mode as well. But as we can see, 600 damage from a tier 9 light tank with having a couple of bursts, and apologies to that Borsig if I had to try and get behind the buildings here, but we're in a tight situation. The damage potential of this vehicle is outrageous. When you combine that with Deadeye on your gunner, you're penetrating 3 shells in a second. And they're 100mm shells, and they seem to do substantial damage to the internals of the enemy vehicle. So the amount of crits that you can get with fires or with ammo racks on this tank really just makes it crazy exciting. And also, it can ram. The tank weighs just shy of 30 tons, and so if you put controlled impact on this, I don't know, from your EB-105 driver, boy, this thing can absolutely take it to enemy tanks. And considering how long its reload is, it's got a disgusting reload of 42 seconds between its 6-round, 2-salvo kind of bursty downtime that it will have of 42 seconds. Then sometimes you have to ram to be able to finish off that last vehicle. Alright, so we're playing on Ensk, and my team is down by nearly 4,000 hit points, and the enemy team have the cap circle. This is looking really ugly indeed. But luckily, our team is all focused in one location, and it looks like the tank's up towards the northeast. Maybe if they don't try to flank, that we can push out of this pincer that we have ourselves in, and they've only got 1 tank inside the cap circle, so maybe there's a chance we can come back from this deficit. But just as I say that, the STRV-1030 luckily misses me, and now you'll see in the speed mode, the bloom after firing on this tank is horrendous, but not horrendous enough that we can't finish off the STA-1. The only downside to this vehicle is now kind of like getting stuck with only 1 burst. It's like I don't have 42 seconds to reload to only do 600 damage. That is less than 1,000 damage per minute. So you kind of have to sometimes hold them, but luckily we're going to go right through the side of the Teenage VZ51. And I will have enough time to be able to reset the cap circle with a full reload. But unfortunately, the tank destroyers have flanked us. The Scorpion finishes off the Liberté. The Hori 1 and the Conway seem to be locked in combat with the brand new Polish Tier 8 tank destroyer that's giving them a hard time. The Kalana's going forwards to get into cover, to get hull down, or even just to avoid the line of sight of the Hori. And now that dastardly Scorpion has flanked yet another vehicle, finishing off their 4th tank in this game. And it's me and a Hori versus 4 TDs. But on Ensk, I don't really have the opportunity to turn this into a vision-based fight. Luckily, the Hori gets one shot into him. It's a bit of a low roll, though. Maybe an undergunned Hori 1 there. And so now I've got 18 rounds to try and deal 3,000 damage. And when you have to waste 600 of that damage just to put a single burst into a Kalana, that is not good news. But we change our 1 versus 4 into a 1 versus 3. The STRV comes around the corner. I have to take some evasive maneuvers here. The STRV takes a swing at me, misses me. Obviously means that I'm spotted, so I've got about 10 seconds until they're no longer going to see me. In this situation, what you've got to do is try to make the enemy think you're not doing what you actually are. So you'll see that I'm making my way up there, pretending I'm going to go after the STRV, but I swing my tank around as soon as I'm unspotted. My 6th sense doesn't re-go off, so I know that I'm not spotted again, and I've just got to delay for as long as I can. I don't want to go around the corner and drive out in front of the STRV, and oh my word, that Scorpion who's been destroying my team is coming after me. But I am a dangerous light tank, and while he drives by me, I'm going to now put my final salvo in, and oh, disaster! 1 shell misses, and 2 shells low roll, leaving the Scorpion on 13 hit points. Well, I'm going to have to give him a little bit of a graze there, and that was about as clutch as it gets for the ram kill there to finish him off, and to now mean that we still have 9 shells left to do 2,000 damage to the enemy team. So we're going to have a quick look here to see how many hit points they're on. 1,300 and 700. Oh, it's so awkward. Unless I get a really big roll on the STRV that has 700 hit points, I'm never going to destroy them in a single mag. And I have to pretty much max roll 3 shells, or alternatively get a fire or an ammo rack to be able to handle that. Look, this has been an epic game for a Char 75 on any map, let alone on Ensk, but this is where my brain really started turning, thinking, how can I manage this? So my first play is to firstly switch out from those AP shells that I was reloading to an APCR mag, and this is my final full mag. Remember, you can't load half mag. Well, you can load half mags, but you're gonna have 42 seconds between 3 shells. That is not a lot to be able to try and get rid of 2 STRVs at the end of the game. When this vehicle was first introduced, there was actually a bug for the first 2 months where you could leave the siege mode in the middle of firing the burst, or when I say siege mode, I should say speed mode, the travel mode, and you could actually interrupt the magazine. And it looks like right now I'm just having a little bit of a moment to kind of like calm and compose myself. I'm actually fully loaded, and I see that both enemy vehicles are inside the cap circle, so I think that was like a, whew, okay, let's go and do this. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can get an ammo rack or a fire on the high health STRV and take this one down. So you can see that I'm leaving the travel mode there, because in the travel mode you have horrendous bloom after firing, and I'm never going to deliver these rounds accurately. So we spot an STRV, and I'm just hoping the STRV will turn. They don't look like they're going to turn. They're just facing this way, and with 42 seconds left, I don't have time to faff. I'm going to have to try and find a different angle. That STRV, considering he's positioned here, he's always going to be facing down these 2 alleyways, and my gun caliber of 100 isn't enough to overmatch the STRV unless I get him in the side. Talk about getting them in the side. There we go. All right, nice. 1, 2, 3. Good start, but oh no! We left him on 30 hit points, and considering I've got 100 and the STRV, it's not exactly the heaviest tank. There is a tiny chance if I bump him just right that I'll be able to get him. So then it comes down to, can I deal 1,300 damage to the other tank with only 6 rounds? But unfortunately, I've only got 30 seconds left to make that decision, to be able to try and get this extra round in. So I was hoping that maybe I could be able to get these STRVs, but they don't want to get spotted. And with only 22 seconds left, I'm going to have to do something bold if I want to get this one. So I was last spotted. I was hoping they were thinking I was going to flank, but maybe if I just come from the same angle again, I'll be able to get them. Okay, there he is. There's the STRV. 1, 2, and oh, he's ammo-racked! He's ammo-racked, and he misses me. Okay. Oh, but he's going to use repair. Oh, what a shame. One of the shells doesn't go in. It could have been the absolute dream, boys and girls. That's what we were hunting for. Was that fire? Was that ammo rack? were those internal crits on the STRV. Oh, if only he hadn't reacted just in time, maybe we would have blown up the STRV and then we would have had the final mag for that low health tank on the enemy team. So, unfortunately, no matter how hard I've tried, the game just still hasn't quite worked out in the way that I wanted. But look, I would have had to have been rolling 6s to be able to handle it. Still, I'm at least annoying these STRVs, irrelevant of what happens in this game. But there's still a chance if I can manage to get a fire or get an ammo rack on that 900 health tank, and then I can ram the other one, that will it end up being a draw, or will it end up just being a... definitely, it would end up being a draw if we both die. I don't have time to worry about that though, because I got 13 seconds now. And while this isn't optimal, I'm hoping that I can manage to get the other one, but considering that I proxy spotted him, he wasn't going to just sit there and let me shoot him in the side. Although, to be fair, he isn't facing me right now. So maybe I could have come around the corner and tried to dump a mag in him in retrospect, and then be able to get the other STRV. But yeah, considering I can't pen them in the front, I feel like I had to take my chance. And now I find myself in a very weird situation where ammunition is empty. And while the tortoise says, very good effort, mate, I'm telling my team that my ammunition is empty and there's not really too much that I can do now. So again, I think I take a break on this corner and just think to myself, what's the best way to go out? I've got 3 minutes left on this game. Do I have enough time to cap? If I can get in 5 seconds ago, I would. And then what? Drive round circles from the STRV? But that wouldn't work on encounter. Because as soon as the STRV gets in the cap circle, he blocks the cap circle and stops me from being able to cap. And I can't damage them inside the cap circle. So that's not going to work. We're going to need more time than 3 minutes to be able to cap. Unfortunately, the tortoise is still telling us. The only point of going into the cap circle right now is to bait the STRV into coming this way so that I could just try to avoid him or try to ram him. Now, in this kind of a situation, a lot of players will be thinking, oh, you should play for a draw. If I play for a draw is really a loss for both teams. So I think the most honorable way to go out in this game is on my shield. So what I decided to do was to enter the cap circle to tell the STRV that I was there, and then I was hoping that irrelevant of wherever the STRV was on the map, that they would go back towards the cap circle and have a look around there. So now the STRV should be coming back from wherever they are on the map, going towards the cap circle, and then my plan was to try and spot them from the inside, thinking they were over on my right, and oh dear, he's right in there in the corner. Ah, all right, you got me, dude. Well played. In this situation, I didn't really care for a draw. I could go and hide in the corner and play like the fox and the hounds. Just be a very cunning fox in the corner of this map. But ending up with a draw, what I wanted to do was just go for the ram. Go for the ram, try and get some more damage, add to that top gun, and possibly a high caliber, and at least feel in a situation that going out on your shield, right? And unfortunately, I guess we proved that the unwinnable game truly was unwinnable. And well played to the STRV for finishing me off. And wow, look, we can even use the kill cam for our replays, although that looks a little weird when we pause it there. Great shot, mate. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was me trying to win the unwinnable. I thoroughly recommend the Char 75. If you're a great player, you will have a really good time in this tank. And if you're not, well, maybe just bombing it around and being a little bit silly can provide a little bit of entertainment. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Monday, I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with more of the anniversary cupcake drops. So you can come and get some epic styles, or I think a premium day just for watching the stream today. So really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.